Hey there, little cats and kittens. That show is messed up. It's like watching a car crash you can't take your eyes off of, but it's multiple episodes long. If you submitted questions to the Ask Me Anything, thank you so much. I'm gonna do it in two parts. I'm gonna do a personal / whiskey one, and then I'm gonna do a work one next. So that's gear and work related questions. So today's personal, saddle up. Okay, I have a whole whack of questions here from Drew McKay Music on YouTube. Can't do all of them, Drew, I just can't. How do you feel about gluten? I love it, it's one of my favorite things to eat. Are you getting more sleep these days? I am actually getting a ton more sleep these days. It's definitely one of the silver linings to this whole isolation situation. But yeah, I am. Thanks for asking, man. Can you tell everyone about that one time we were in Calgary playing volleyball and there were clowns doing a clown convention and staying in our dorms the whole weekend? I think this was grade 10. Drew and I played club volleyball together. We had a tournament in Calgary. I think we were staying at U of C and there was a clown convention happening, or like a clown wedding or something. Drew, I was just thinking about this because I'm realizing I'm actually a little bit freaked out of clowns. And I think it might be because of this, because we'd just be doing our thing, walking around the dorms, and you walk around a corner and there'd be like 15 clowns in full getup just hanging out. It's terrifying. Is Dean serious right now? Don't know who Dean is, never heard of her. Should we just record new He Speaks Red music while we're quarantined? That was our old band. It would be a lot of fun. I've been playing a lot more music lately. Just the music I'm playing now doesn't sound like this. What's something or somewhere you're dying to take photos of? I was just talking to my dad about this. I've been seeing photos of this spot in Ireland called Downpatrick's Head. Downpatrick Head? Downpatrick's Head? I have to look that up. It's gonna drive me nuts. Downpatrick Head. Anyways, it looks like this incredible spot that you could do some like drone photography and everything. I think I actually just want to be back in Ireland, period. I think that's mostly what it is. Next up, we have Joe Pratap. He said, what is your favorite song by NoFX? He thinks it's Bob. Excellent guess. There are so many songs by NoFX that I completely love, but I think if I had to pick just one, Joe, it's probably Separation of Church and Skate off the 2003 War on Errorism. If you don't know it, you should listen to it. I love that song. Stu Warnock says, what's your most meaningful tattoo? I have a lot of tattoos, but this is actually a really easy one. It's this guy right here, drawn on by Jesse Strong at the time at Steveston Tattoo. Is he in a private studio now? I don't even know. But I got that tattoo shortly after my mom passed away. She passed away because of lung cancer, and she really didn't like tattoos. Anytime I got a new tattoo, she would kind of look sad and pet it. But she had a journal entry while she was journeying through cancer and going through treatments. And she had this one journal entry where she said the words, "but if not," would be the only tattoo she would ever consider getting. And it has to do with a story in the Bible about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, if you know it. But yeah, that's the one, Stu. Thanks for asking. I love that question. Okay, then I've got a few questions here from my friend Raven Lindbergh. Miss you, Rave. This one says, if you had to wear the skin of any dinosaur and parade around in it old school style, which one would it be? Obviously T-Rex. Is there any other choice with the tiny arms? Oh, this one's getting serious. If you had the choice to eat 5 Little Caesars pizzas or drink a bottle of sriracha, which one do you think would give the worst runs? It's easy. I've been building up an immunity to Little Caesars pizza since I was 15 years old, so the sriracha. What exactly were the Beach Boys talking about when they say, wouldn't it be nice? Don't they literally say it in the song. It's just about not having to wait to grow up, I think. Isn't that what it is? When are we going to be able to do Toasts in the Woods? I hope sooner rather than later. I miss being around people so much. I'm gonna do some whiskey questions. If I'm gonna talk about whiskey, I may as well have a whiskey. Feels sick and wrong to not. I'm gonna have a little taste of this guy while we talk whiskey. Let's get the background better. Just a little splash. Oh, that's good. Okay, first set of whiskey questions is from Kurt Witt. What flavor profile do you like in your whiskeys? Smooth, smoky, or peaty? Irish, Scotch, Japanese, Canadian, or bourbon? Kurt, I'd say my favorite flavor profile is definitely peaty. I love whiskeys that you like open it and it clears a room because it's so peaty. And I think that goes back to a trip I had to Ireland with my dad. Dad, what town were we in? We stopped for lunch and we had lunch right beside like a peat fireplace. And so whenever I have a sip or smell of, this is a peaty whiskey, it reminds me of that. And that makes it one of my favorites. If I had to order them according to regions, it'd be Scotch first, Irish. Scotch and Irish take up so many of my favorites, so it's probably bourbon after that. Then Japanese, then Canadian. I haven't had enough Japanese or Canadian, I don't think, to make an educated decision on that. There you go. Kurt also says, what's your top 3 whiskeys? Oh, don't do this to me. So top 3, I would pick, like the number 1 spot, I'd pick anything so peaty it clears a room. So Lafroig is one of my go-to distilleries. I love pretty much anything that comes out of there. After that, it would be Macallan 18. That's a sweeter profile. Sweet, smooth. Oh, it's so good. And I have a lot of really good memories attached to that whiskey as well. Then after that, I would have to hop over to an Irish and say Redbreast 21, I think. Yeah, Redbreast 21. It probably changes every time you ask, Kurt, but today, that's how I'm feeling. Okay, next question is Caleb Derwin on YouTube. He said, what is your go-to Scotch? I would say probably a bottle of Lafroig or a Bushmills. That's from Northern Ireland, which isn't actually a Scotch, it's an Irish, but one of those two, I'd say. Next, we have Jamie Nay on Facebook. He said, why do you never talk about bourbon? Why does Scotch get all the love? Well, I have something for you, Jamie. I'm about to prove you wrong. Here you go. Elijah Craig. Have you had this one, Jamie? It's really good. Really, really good. I do love bourbon. I love pretty much all whiskey. I'm just a whiskey fan in general. Like I said, you know, my favorite flavor profile is peaty, and so a lot of bourbons are just sweeter whiskeys in general, but I do like bourbon. Don't worry, Jamie, but I do drink Scotch and Irish more than bourbon. Next question is from Cooking Curiosity. It says, I see a lot of whiskey on your page. Are they local to the area or easy to find? Let me check what's on my feed. So what's funny is a lot of the whiskey that I actually post on here isn't easy to find unless you're, like I have, Writer's Tears is pretty easy to find. Then I have a couple from Scotland that came right from Scotland, thanks to my father-in-law. I would say on the whole, they aren't local to our area. No, there's one Shelter Point, which is from Vancouver Island, which isn't far from us. I loved that one actually. But for the most part, I drink stuff that's fairly easy to find in stores, but on my feed, the scotches I'm posting aren't necessarily that easy to find here. But not impossible, but not the easiest probably. Thank you so much for your submissions. Again, I didn't have time to answer absolutely every question that was submitted, but thank you to everybody for everything that you wrote in. Don't forget, I'm gonna have, it's gonna be a more in-depth video that is more work and gear related, and that's coming up later this week. So thanks for watching, cheers, and until next time. Do you want to come see what it looks like to sit in front of all this? Sure. You're a little bit low.
Yeah.
There you go.
It smells like whiskey.
You want to put the hat over the lens? Okay, so take it off my head, and then you gotta flip it, whoosh, and put it like that.
Okay.
Okay? And you have to make a whoosh sound when you do it. You have to. Okay? Whoosh.